Hello and welcome back to another episode of Jazz Biz Buzz. As promised, we have a new industry for you to explore today. And today we'll be engaging in conversations with Mr. Ehsan Saya, Managing Director of Daraz. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. So Ehsan, let's start with your personal professional journey. From investment banking to e-commerce, from Canada to Pakistan, how did this happen?
Yeah, so I was born in Pakistan, but I've never actually lived in Pakistan in my adult life. So obviously it was a very interesting transition, but I think I did investment banking for about 7-8 years. After doing investment banking for 7-8 years, I actually made the transition into e-commerce in Canada, where I started more on the operation side because I was involved in a last mile e-commerce logistics company. And one of the basic fundamental values that we had in the business that we'd built over there called Joeyco was essentially empowerment of people. And I think when I was assessing and thinking about opportunities and when sort of Daraz came about, one of the most valuable things to me was combining this element of building and creating and empowering people. And I think that's the wonderful thing that, frankly, that we're able to do at Daraz. And one of the things that made it easier to make that move from Canada to Pakistan, I think one of the main, I would say, I guess, a personal KPI for me was how many millions of lives can you impact? And frankly, in a developed nation where things are very smooth, it's difficult to change so many lives. In Pakistan, frankly, wherever you look, you almost have to try not to help. And I think that's where sort of the stars aligned and I made the move.
Oh, that's great. So talking about the industry, I think the traditional business industry in Pakistan is quite strong. And for most of the people over here, e-commerce is basically just opening up a shop online. But in itself, it is an industry. So how do you compete with that? And how are you basically taking your share of the pie from these people?
Yeah, one thing you have to keep in mind is obviously even the e-commerce industry is at its infancy in Pakistan, right? If you look at the entire retail market, maybe 1.5% to 2% of the market is e-commerce. And e-commerce fundamentally requires, various pillars. So obviously, like you said, one is a website. But, now let's say you have a website and someone doesn't, delivers an order or, places an order rather. Now it has to get delivered. And so you have logistics that you have to make sure is on point. You have an entire payments platform, whether it's cash on delivery or whether it's digital payments. Whatever method it is, it actually, there's a lot more than just a website. And one of the ways that we really are able to compete is to invest in that infrastructure. So we have 5 warehouses across Pakistan, 65 hubs across 19 cities rather, a fleet of 3,500 heroes or riders across the country. And that foundation and that infrastructure really on the logistics side, combined with our ability to really process digital payments, through various methods, whether it's working with the likes of Jazz Cash, whether it's working with the banks or Daraz Wallet, and offering the customer that if they do want to pay on cash, they can. All of those things are fundamentally what build the e-commerce industry. And the reason we're able to really compete on with the sort of the brick and mortars are because we really allow any human being, whatever corner of Pakistan you're sitting in, if you want to sell and if you want to work in an ethical and honest manner, we provide you a platform that you can build your life, and we give the same to the customer.
So while we're talking about reaching far off people and even in the rural areas, there's this taboo that was related with the e-commerce, online payments. People still don't trust making an online payment, and they still trust cash on delivery more. So I'm basically speaking in terms of 5 years ago. I mean, I knew so many people who would say that I'm not going to make an online payment. It's risky business in Pakistan. So have you seen that evolve over time? अभी ज़्यादा लोग cash on delivery भी अभी भी कर रहे हैं या percentage अब कम हो गई है cash on delivery की as compared to online की increase हो गई है?
Yeah, इसमें ये कि I think major focus ये होता है that how do you remove the friction points? And I think over time we have tried to remove the friction points that disincentivize someone to try it. So now when I say that, I mean, if you buy a product and your refunds are stuck for 45 days, you're going to say, यार मैंने एक fridge लिया 1.5 lakh रुपए का, and that's stuck for 45 days. That's a lot of money to be stuck for 45 days.
Exactly.
Especially when your cost of debt is so high. So you have to break down those barriers. And then at the same time, you have to give access to all methods that a customer can pay. So now today, we work with Jazz Cash, we have Easy Pesa, we have all the banks. And then what we do is we actually run campaigns that educate the customer and incentivize the customer. So, you would get a certain amount of discount if you shop on a Wednesday with an HBL card, and the customer would actually say, "Yeah, theek hai, mujhe agar, discount milta hai, let me try to buy." And then what will happen is on a Thursday, that customer will also buy, despite of not getting a discount. And so that starts making them understand that it's actually easier, because agar main ghar pe nahi hu, and the hero or the rider shows up, and I'm at the office, I can say, "Okay, please leave my package with
At the doorstep
or whatever it is, right? And please leave it with the neighbor. I'll go pick it up." And that's the evolution we have seen. Where today, I think approximately 45 to 50% of the value that we do is actually done on prepayment, which is a very dramatic improvement over the last few years. Of course, the number of orders lags behind a little bit, with that, but that's also moving in the right direction, where people are starting to understand the convenience element of digital payments. It's that I don't need to stress out that if I'm not home, the product is safely there, and if I'm not happy with the product, I can get my refund quickly as well.
Speaking of limitations, I think again I said that एक मोबाइल आप हाथ में पकड़ा दें, एक छोटा बच्चा भी उस पे selling करना शुरू कर देता है, and we've seen a lot of Instagram businesses building up 16-year-old baking and selling their products and etc. So I feel like youth की dexterity जो है towards this digital kind of platforms, it's more, but फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन, डिजिटल इंक्लूजन, ये चीज़ें अभी भी हमारे पाकिस्तान के अंदर आई फील लाइक बहुत ज़्यादा आगे नहीं जा सकी हैं. देयर इज़ अ चेंज ऑफ कोर्स, बट इट्स सॉर्ट ऑफ स्टिल स्टेडी, a little bit slower. So do you think that you're able to capitalize on young entrepreneurs, and are you able to extract that?
This is honestly one of the areas that I love the most about Daraz, and even when we go back to sort of why I moved here, I think it's that we have such a massive population of young people, which is as much an opportunity as a risk. And so I think this is where we really try to add value, is that not only do we actually engage with these sellers, through Daraz University, we educate you from literally knowing just how to be on your laptop, to once you sign up, how to participate in campaigns, how you should pack your product, what sort of description you should write, what sort of picture you should take. End to end, we educate you on how to actually participate in digital commerce. And it's amazing when I meet a lot of these sellers, how many of them are young and how many of them are able to change their lives. I mean, if I was to tell you the stories, it would A, probably make you cry, but B, it's actually it's very inspiring. I mean, I met a kid from Gujranwala, I think maybe a year and a half, 2 ago. He had lost his father, I think when he was 16 or so, and today I think he's maybe 19 or 20. And he was going to quit school, but someone suggested कि यार mobile accessories खरीद के दराज पे लगा दो और वो बेचना शुरू करो. And he started doing that, and today he's able to make enough of an income that he's able to run his household. And I think he's either graduated from having done an engineering degree, or he's going to. And that's really where you make substantive changes.
Absolutely.
Where you've sort of given someone the ability that, hey, you don't have to quit school. Study and make sure that is a priority. Make sure you finish your school, and make sure that there's an ability for you to make an income on the side. And I've met honestly other young people that have built their platform from having 2-3 products, and now today they have hundreds of products, and these kids are still in their teens, and that is truly, I think, the power of what we do.
This is actually really remarkable, Ehsan, because this is what building an industry in Pakistan means. The traditional businesses can open up online fronts, however, they won't be inviting this much employment in Pakistan the way an e-commerce industry setting up over here does. So while we're talking about infrastructures and all, I'd like to ask you how you're managing your logistics and how you're managing your payment gateways. You have association with Alibaba. Do you think that Alipay is going to come to Pakistan, or do you feel confident enough in the gateways that you have, the partnerships that you have over here right now?
Yeah, I think, when we look at the 2 biggest challenges in Pakistan, they are logistics and digital payments. So let's go one by one on them. Logistics, we've spent a lot of time, energy, and money to build, like I said, warehouses, having a middle mile, last mile fleet. So today, about 65 to 70% of the deliveries we do across the country, we do ourselves. But we also partner up with the likes of the TCSs, the LCSs, Blue X's, there's Ryder, a lot of different companies that have sort of come along with us and been able to
build an ecosystem
with us, right? And so I think that's our intention, is to continue doing that, and collectively actually we've really helped each other elevate the game. On the digital payments side, we obviously work with Jazz Cash, and we've done a lot of good work with them. And I think one of the elements that we do have through having Alibaba is having the understanding from Ant Financial as well, and making sure that when it comes to risk mitigation and making sure we have the capacities to be able to handle transactions. That definitely helps. Having a parent in Alibaba that is able to help us understand what are the pain points, what are the areas we should focus on. Of course, I still think and in terms of digital payments, Pakistan is of course quite far behind, but there are a lot of players are doing a lot of good things, and even a good evidence of that is even when I look at our transactions, the number of transactions, and the value of transactions have, like I mentioned, gone up quite a bit when it comes to people trusting online payments. So it is a journey, but we're very confident with the players that we have, with the relationships we have, and the focus not just on discounts and subsidies, but on educating people that transacting online is actually, paying online and through digital payments is actually a safe interaction. You don't need to be worried. It actually makes your life easier. And then the customers themselves want to come.
Absolutely. So I think we have asked you a lot of questions. I'll just ask this one last question. Customer experience is something that is very important. And I've seen, because I have actually worked in the digital marketing area myself as well, the people who are happy with the services might not come to complain or appreciate, but the people who are unhappy will actually come and complain about, missed deliveries and all of those things. So how do you, you have to stay at the top of your game in terms of customer experience. So how do you innovate that area, and how do you sort of,
One is, I think, from a mindset perspective, and I'll give you a bit of an example. I think every Friday, right after Jummah, our entire management team, we order lunch, and there's about management team plus one down to sit, and we work exclusively on product quality, customer experience. And we do this every Friday now, such that even the mindset of the entire organization is customer first and customer experience first. And so every single thing we do, whether it's someone messaging me on LinkedIn personally and me responding personally, whether it's someone WhatsApping me, calling me, and it's really saying that that's okay. Like, customer is truly first, and you have to prioritize that. And you have to make sure that every pain point of the customer is resolved, and you actually go that extra mile to make sure that the customer is left happy. Today, and through those efforts, we've actually, we did an exercise where we delisted about 5,000 sellers that were not meeting the threshold that we wanted for our customers. And now our return rate on our platform is less than 1%.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's phenomenal, right? And of course, when you don't have the 99% that go on social media and praise, unfortunately, but at least when I look at the numbers internally, I do see that those numbers of returns are coming down drastically, while at the same time we're making returns easier, right? We're really saying, please return it. Please return if you're not happy. Please contact us and we will fix it. So that means that clearly we're moving in the right direction, making sure we're holding our sellers to a higher standard, and making sure that they're not able to, not only are they not able to sell products that are poor quality, but really educating them that this is what makes a customer happy, and doing one good customer is actually going to come back to you again and again and again. Whereas if a customer is unhappy and puts a bad review, this is actually hurts your business in the long term. So use this ability to target the 200 plus million people that are in this country, rather than saying, "Ki yaar, ye falana product main galat bhejunga and I'll be fine," because A, you will not be fine.
Penalized.
You will not get your money. In fact, you will probably lose money on it, and you will not be able to sell anymore. Exactly. So really, also making sellers understand that this loopholes actually start hurting you. Yeah. And like I said, it's a journey, but I'm very pleased that the results of a lot of things that we've done in the last 24 months towards customer experience are bearing a lot of fruits, alhamdulillah.
That's amazing. So thank you so much, Ehsan,
Thank you
for coming here today and talking to us a lot about it. I myself have gained a lot of more knowledge than I had before on e-commerce.
Great.
I'm sure our viewers did too. So we will be back with another episode of Jazz Biz Buzz next month. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
Jazz Business, designed to help you grow.